Welcome back to Ace Attorney. Oh, wait. No. No, no, no. This is not the right save. We're going to end this. And try again. I must have hit the wrong... I must have hit new game. Whoops-a-daisy. Okay. Buttons I shouldn't... Justice for all. 4-1. Yep. Okay. Maybe I didn't start a new game. Huff. Huff. Grr. How did I get into this mess? That's far enough. You can't run forever. Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? What have I done wrong? I cannot allow you to go on like this. But I'm just a simple defense attorney. Silence. You are no longer worthy of your title. I've had this dream before someplace, some time ago. As if this day was written into my destiny. Today, I'll stand in court as a lawyer to prove a killer innocent. Hello? This is Phoenix, right? You don't look so well, dude. You're gonna prove me not guilty today, right? If you please, Mr. Lawyer. Remember, it's not just for me, it's your precious friend's life is riding on today's verdict, too. Now listen up, you'd better get Engard a guilty verdict sentence, okay? If you get that creep slime ball and not guilty, I'll never forgive you, ever. Maya. Phoenix. Mia. Maya. How's Maya? I don't know. You don't know? She hasn't tried channeling me since yesterday. Mia, what am I supposed to do? Well, like I said, for a lawyer, the worst of the times are when you have to force your biggest smile. But you can't give up. There's still some hope left. Stop it, please. There's nothing left. Not here, not anywhere. Ugh. Is that accursed Engard again? Will you leave me alone? Look, don't call me anymore. I mean it. You're really mean, pal. Gumshoe, I'm really sorry. Where are you? They let me join the investigation team and we're chasing after the killer, pal. Then you have some sort of lead? Sorry, but right now we've got 0 leads on that guy. But we're not gonna give up. Gumshoe, until this trial is over, until the verdict is handed down, we're going to do everything we can to find the killer. If we can get Maya out, then you can get Engard the guilty verdict he deserves, pal. That's true, I could do that if you find Maya first. You got that? So you have to do whatever you can to make the trial last a little longer. I have to make the trial last longer? If you go at Mr. Edgeworth with everything you've got, then you two can draw it out. Oh, now I get it. I believe in you, pal. You and Mr. Edgeworth can do it. So believe in us. We're going to give it all we've got, just like you. Got it. Thanks, Gumshoe. Hey, Phoenix. You understand now, don't you? You have some time, something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. It's the strongest weapon in the world, and you have it in abundance. Yeah. The power of friendship. Looks like we're coming to the end. I have to make the trial last as long as I can. Gumshoe will come through. I know it. The power of friendship! Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Engard. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being, what exactly was Miss Andrea Andrews' role in the murder? That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Mr. Edgeworth, if you would please inform the court of today's proceedings. Andrea Andrews. She forged evidence that threw suspicion onto Mr. Engard, and then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape. And you're saying that she is guilty after all? I'm not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews has nothing to do with committing the actual murder. I would like to direct the court's attention to this card. What is that? It looks like a shell. This is the calling card of a certain assassin. Assassin, you say? Yes. June Koreeda was killed by a professional assassin, and the person who hired the assassin, his client, so to speak, is Matt Engard. What a surprising turn of events. I would think it's because I think it'd become commonplace by now, Your Honor. I know what's going on this time, so I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can, at least until Maya's safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today. Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls the defendant, mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please. Oh, okay. I'm Will Powers. I'm a poor, underpaid action star. And what is your relation to the defendant? Well, I guess I'm sort of a lousy mentor to him in a way, yeah. Mr. Powers, please, you don't need to put yourself down so much. Oh, sorry. Well, but I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy. On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is that correct? Yes. I didn't know that. But you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went. All you need to do is answer what you're asked. Now then, I would like you to please testify about when you went to Mr. Engard's room. Okay, sure. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. Nothing sounds out of place in Mr. Powers' testimony. And talking with the bellboy is no big deal. If one assumes that the person Mr. Engard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy, what are you implying? Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we? Looks like we're in another sticky situation, huh? A trap. Can't you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just gonna have to charge in ahead first, right? Sure. If you say so, Mia. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in the nickel samurai costume. Are you sure that Matt Engard? Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the nickel samurai costume's mask. If that's the case, then he really can't be mistaken. And what was the defendant doing standing in front of his own room? Yeah, what was he doing? He was talking with someone at first. I thought it was a bellboy. At first? What do you mean by that? Well, he was in a bellboyish uniform and he had a bottle of juice on the tray. Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me. Yeah, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy. And why was that? Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Sorry, but I can't remember right now. Sorry. I guess I'm going to have to wait patiently on this one. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. You saw the two of them? The bellboy and the defendant together, correct? Yeah, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats. Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange? I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. A tip? But that's a perfectly normal thing to do. So how long did you watch the two of them? Not more than a minute or two, I think. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. I don't remember that happening at all. Maya was making such a racket in her hyper state. I ended up focusing on her. I see. In any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. I'm gonna press the last one. Who were these guests? So who were these guests you're talking about? You guys, of course. You and Maya and Little Pearl. I thought it would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway. This is like squeezing water from a stone. It's probably pointless to press further. Did Mr. Powers leave you that night? I don't remember that happening at all. Maya was okay, so it really wasn't anything I saw. I'll keep pressing the other things. The defendant's room. Why did you go there? Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother of sorts, and I want to say congrats. What's wrong? Why did you stop? Mr. Wright, what is it? You're going to try and trick me into a corner, aren't you? Huh? I know I'm just a poor underpaid action star, but I'm not a killer. No one said you were, Mr. Powers. No, please, don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy. Every time? Witness, I will personally talk to the defense at a later time. So for now, please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony. Sorry. So you went to the defendant's room and then, hey, wait a minute, when and how did I suddenly turn into the bad guy here? Are you sure that Matt... Okay, so... We've already pressed everything then, because I pressed... He was talking with someone at first. I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. Yeah, what's a given? At first, I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them. Well, he gave Will the radio, so I thought that would have been why he had suspicion. There's got to be some reason. Do I have profiles? Of the bellboy? No, I don't. I'm gonna push this again. At first, what do you mean by that? I didn't think that he was a normal bellboy, and why was that? Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? Oh, okay, nothing new. I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. Oh, okay, there we go. Could it be that you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself? Aha, yeah, that's it. You really know your job. Mr. Edgeworth? What's weird about tips? Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he? Of course not. Perhaps we should let the witness tell us. Very well. Mr. Powers, please amend your testimony. You mean about the bellboy, right? Matt gave the bellboy a tip. So he gave the bellboy a tip. What's so strange about that? Well, you see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me. How much was it? But that's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got into his pocket, and that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked. I'm afraid I don't follow at all. It sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. So... Sorry, I'm still messing with my sound, trying to get it better to sound a little bit better. Okay. It sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask about. What was so shocking about the bellboy's face, Mr. Powers? Well, he wasn't exactly a boy, more like an old Gramps. I hope you know what that discriminating towards old men is a no-no in my court. No, that's not what I meant at all. In the smack middle of the guy's face, there are lines of stitches. A line of stitches? Yeah, and it went straight from the tippy top of his head to the bottom of his chin. It was almost like it was a thread snap. All the stuff in the head would come spilling out. He was there at Engard's house. He was the butler. What is it, Mr. Wright? Nothing, Your Honor. So that means Engard was talking with the killer then. If that's the fact, were to be exposed, Engard would be declared guilty in a blink. Phoenix, you had to play dumb here. Pretend you don't know anything. Yes, Chief. You sure you don't have anything you would like to say, Mr. Wright? Huh? What did you say, Your Honor? Mr. Honor? Can you tell me, Mr. Nothing, Mr. Wright, nothing. We're just going around and around in circles. Now then, Mr. Powers, please continue with your testimony. Okay. I was standing there in front of the room still Did I choose the wrong one to get information from? You saw the two of them, the bellboy and the defendant there together, correct? Yeah. The bellboy just wanted to say congrats. Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange? I did feel something strange. I think I did get the tip. Yep. Us guys. Mr. Wright? Oh yeah, we're doing this again. No, I'm not gonna... No, it's not happening. I'm not a jerk. Yeah, okay, so there's something with this tip that I need to do. Okay, let's go with the amount of the tip. How about that? The defense is a huge star. He can afford to give generous tips, wouldn't you agree? Sure, but giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think. A little too much? Would you please clarify for the court about how much would you say the defendant gave to the bellboy? Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess. And why is that? Because he gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash. A roll of cash? Well, how interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it? Very fat roll of cash. That can hardly be called a tip, Your Honor. The judge is beginning to look awfully suspicious of us. The defendant's a superstar. That kind of tip is typical fare for people like him. Are you saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I could receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, why on earth would I stand around here being prosecutor? He's got a point. I don't even get paid, let alone rolls of cash, for all my hard work. So supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it? Payment, Your Honor. Payment? Isn't it obvious? For the murder of Mr. June Cordia. Then the bellboy, the witness saw, yes, he was the assassin. Hold your horses now, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't have any proof of this, do you? Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card Shelley the Killer left at the scene of the crime. Shelley the Killer? He is the person the police special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I am certain that the person the witness saw was this very assassin, Shelley the Killer. Really? What's wrong, Mr. Powers? No, nothing. Something just clicked in my head, and I think I just figured something out. Oh, actually, I saw the bellboy again later on that night. Well, what? Mr. Powers, please testify. Tell us what you saw. Yes, sir. Right away. This time, I saw I was in the hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when the bellboy that I saw earlier came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean June Cordia's room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kind of out of place. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin, I'm sure of it. I mean what? Thank you very much. That is all we need for you now. Huh? But I'm not done. There's still more. Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. the Killer. Then we shall see. So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. If the bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious. That would be correct, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe it's your turn to entertain and make us laugh. This is no laughing matter. This time I was in the hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And what time was it? Well, I don't remember. The reward ceremony ended around 8, right? And I went to Matt's room pretty soon after that. And then I came back. And then I went to the bathroom. So I guess maybe it was around 8:10 by that time. You're not one for details, are you, Mr. Powers? Sorry. I thought I could maybe catch Matt and say my congrats. And that's when the bellboy I saw come earlier came out of the room. And by that room, I meant Matt's room. Are you sure it was the same bellboy? Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss those stitches on his face. And how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform after all. But you see, well, he had those stitches on in his face. So I'm sure it was the same guy that was talking with Matt. So which room did the bellboy come out of? Of course, when I say room, I mean June Cordia's room. The victim's room, huh? Yeah, the one with all the really pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was June's room, all right. Words cannot describe how screwed I am. Let's continue with the testimony, shall we? Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kind of out of place. So what exactly was so out of place about him? Right. Why the insipid grin? Maybe because I have no idea what damaging thing he's going to say next. Well, the bellboy was empty-handed. Empty-handed? That bellboy was one of those room service people, right? But he wasn't pushing a car and he wasn't holding a tray either. You'd call that a little strange too, wouldn't you? I agree, that is a bit strange, Mr. Powers. But is it really that unusual for a bellboy to be empty-handed? What should I do? Should I let Mr. Powers' testimony slide, or try to pull a fast one? There is nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy. But there really, really is. There really, really isn't. If you two are done being schoolchildren, bellboys are for room service. There is no reason for them to be empty-handed, ever. Your Honor, I ask that the witness' previous statement be supplemented with a new one. Edgeworth, are you going to do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious? I see. Very well. This court recognizes and grants the prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, if you could amend your testimony, please. Yes, sir. I thought it was kind of strange for a bellboy to come out of a guest room empty-handed. So you're saying that it's suspicious for him to be empty-handed? Yeah, really suspicious. I mean, when I first saw that bellboy, he was holding a tray in his hand, and there was a bottle of juice and wine glass on it. Wine glass. What kind of juice was it? I'm pretty sure it was tomato juice. If we could come up with some sort of reason as to why he would come out empty-handed, some sort of proof, then I think we can dodge the bullet on this one for now. Proof, huh? Sounds like another job for the court records. Because he dropped off the tray, right? Right? Mr. Powers. Yes? You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that the bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true. But, isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches and... So, a baseball has stitches? Are you saying all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches? Well, there's also, what about the being empty-handed? I would like to ask the court to please take a look here. This is the crime scene. There is a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Cordia's body. The liquid inside this glass is tomato juice. And now, if you would look at what is on top of the table in the lower right corner here, anyone can clearly see that the tray with the bottle of tomato juice is on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Cordia's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left. But that would mean that the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room. But can you prove that Mr. Cordia was already dead at that time? Mr. Edgeworth, yes. I blame you for leading me down this route. I'm terribly sorry. What is with him? Why is he laughing? Witness, isn't there one more thing you would like to share with us? Is there? The bellboy was empty-handed, or should I say empty-handed. I recall you had something interesting to say about his hands. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Oh, what? That bellboy, he was wearing gloves. Gloves? Yeah, pitch black leather ones. All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right? Black leather gloves? Why didn't you mention them earlier? Sorry, it slipped my mind. The bellboy, does this make the bellboy look really suspicious? Alright, gotta focus. Can't get laxed here. So what? If he had gloves, a lot of bellboys wear gloves. Come on, Mr. Wright. That bellboy was wearing black leather ones. So, a football is made of leather. Are you saying all footballs are suspicious because they are made of leather? But that man, he received a large roll of cash from the defendant, and then he was seen leaving the crime scene wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy. Ugh. It seems that we have finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. The rest? Oh yes, please tell us more. Okay. After leaving June's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door just like that. He gave something to the person inside the room. Then the old guy just left without even going into the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and then back to my seat. So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene next, went to the defendant's room? Yeah, I kind of saw all the way by the accident. Some accident. I'd say you saw too much, and all of it was suspicious to high heavens. I think it's safe to say that we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please? Yes, Your Honor. After leaving June's room, the bellboy went and knocked on that door. Okay. Is that what you saw while you were busy spying? Excuse me? I may be poor, underpaid actor star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying. Well, I think the point is, where did you watch all of this, Mr. Powers? Oh, from the door of the bathroom with my left eye. in sort of a sneaky spy-like. I knew he was spying. Please, does it really matter what he was doing? It's over or underhandled. What did the bellboy do next? What? That's all I care about. He gave something to the person inside the room. I said, hold it. Okay. That's better. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details. Oh, okay. I should probably ask him only one question at a time. He gave something to this person? Yeah. And what was the something? If I remembered that it was what it was, I wouldn't be calling it something, would I? But that implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you sure you really can't remember, Mr. Powers? I think it was something kind of small. This is incredibly crucial piece of information. Please try to remember what it was. I'll try. In the meantime, let's talk of another point. Namely, what was the bellboy did next? Oh, so after he gave the person inside the room that thing... Okay, let's try and get the other piece of information. So, who took the something the bellboy handed off? Actually, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. Only an arm? Then you're saying you didn't see the person's face? Yeah. I would like to summarize the testimony up to this point, if you don't mind. When the bellboy left the crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There, he handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. As for the person who received the item, all you could see was the person's arm. Yes, it was just like that. Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important? Of course, Your Honor. I think this is of the utmost importance. This is whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client. Mr. Powers, please try to remember what it was the bellboy handed off. Well, let's see. I think it was... No. If you remember, please add it to your testimony. Yes, sir. If I saw it again, I could say for sure, but I think it was some sort of wooden statue. What was the point of the pregnant pause? Where did that ejection come from? Please, well, speak up. It was me, Your Honor. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling that something bad is going to happen once I show this. Mr. Wright, if you have something to say, please spit it out. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Phoenix, take a deep breath. Mr. Powers, the something you saw. Was it this item? Oh, hey, that's it. That's the something. Wow, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out. You're so cool. I recall we found this at Matt Engar's mansion. At the defendant's house. What does this mean? It's simple, Your Honor. Shelley the Killer assassinated June Cordia in his room, and then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime. Then the bear being found at Mr. Engar's mansion would mean... It goes without saying, Your Honor. Mr. Matt Engard is the killer's client. Order. I said order. Mr. Wright, this is a most unfortunate turn of events for you. Yeah, sorry, Mia. No, it's alright. Your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured the bear would come up. If not now, then it would have come on later. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. I almost forgot that he knows about it too. I think it's clear that there is no need for us to continue this trial. I can't let this happen. I have to do something. There has to be something we've overlooked. Your Honor, a minute, please. Yes, Mr. Phoenix Wright? There are still a few points left that we have not fully explored. What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. All right, Mr. Wright. What questionable point would you like to explore further? There was one thing in Mr. Powers' testimony that was very unclear, and that is the identity of the person who received the bear. He gave something to a person inside the room. I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. As long as we don't know who it was that took the bear, we can't be sure of. Ha! What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're going to scream like that, then at least give us a good reason why. Oh, yeah, sorry. Actually, so I remembered. I remember who took the bear. What? Really? I mean, I only saw his arm. But, the arm, it was the Nickel Samurai's arm, I swear. You've got to be kidding. Are you sure of that, Mr. Powers? Yeah, I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai. Order. It looks like you've dug your own grave yet again. How many times is that today? I've lost count. So the person who took in the little bear was the Nickel Samurai. And as we all know, Matt Engard is the Nickel Samurai. Thanks to the defense, we've made it all very clear. What am I supposed to do now, Mia? Help! You don't have time to act lost. You've got to find another angle to attack this from. Hurry. Now, I will bring this cross-examination to Your Honor. Again, Mr. Wright? You've already removed any and all questionable areas of the testimony. It's about time you were removed from this court, Mr. Wright. We have to find something, even one little point will do. There are still questions left unanswered. What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, you can't have that. All right, Mr. Wright, what questionable point would you like to explore further? I think it's fairly obvious that the bear itself is very questionable. The bear, Mr. Wright? This was found at Mr. Engard's mansion. However, Mr. Engard was arrested at the hotel that night, which means that since the murder occurred, he has not had a chance to go home. Oh, I think Your Honor has already figured out what I'm trying to say. It is not possible that it was Mr. Engard who took this bear to his mansion. Why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There was no way, time-wise, for the defense to have taken this bear home. Phew, disaster averted. Oh. You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright. Huh? I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Engard's mansion. We have this area completely surrounded. There is no way for him to escape. I can't believe it. That butler, all this time, he was the killer. Killer and Engard were working together, so to speak. And the killer was hiding at the Engard's mansion as its butler. What? A bold move. The bear figurine was brought back to Engard's mansion by the killer himself. When it looks like he was about to be arrested, Engard had him do so. I assume because it would have been bad had the police found it during the investigation. Well, Mr. Wright, you've been quiet for a while now. This is too much. Isn't there anything I can attack at all? I think we've heard enough. We now know why this bear figurine was at the defendant's mansion, as well as who it was that received the bear from the assassin in his room. Everything else has become very clear. The client who hired the assassin to commit the murder was Mr. Matt Engard. I see no reason to further continue this trial, therefore I will now hand down my verdict. Thank you, Your Honor, for your understanding. You see, Mr. Wright, you could not win against the truth, could you? I knew it would turn out this way. After all, what Edgeworth has stated is the truth. Any last objections, Mr. Wright? Well, do I? What should I do? I will now... There is only one way for me to drag this trial out. The only thing I have left is one dirty trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted the bear figurine from the assassin. Reason number two, that very same figurine was found at Engard's mansion. However, it's possible this is all the work of a certain other person. What are you saying? What am I saying? It's possible a different person is the killer's real client. The real client? Yes. Kiss, kiss. Is this all you have? Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. who do you say is the killer's real client and therefore the real murderer? Adrian Andrews? Yes, we already know that she tried to frame Matt Engard for the crime by wearing a spare nickel samurai costume. Then the nickel samurai's arm that I saw, that could have very well been Miss Andrews. But what about Mr. Engard? If you would please recall yesterday's testimony, the defendant was taking a nap during the break period. That's right. Then finding the figurine at Mr. Engard's mansion was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion on this? I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense logic, besides which there is no evidence to support it. However, I can't fully discount its possibility either. What is wrong? Come on, anyone can tell it Edgeworth did it. I can't believe the defense would go so far to pin guilt onto someone else. Yeah, unbelievable. It's not something petty, it's murder of all things. This is to save Maya, this is to save Maya, this is to save Maya, even if the whole world turns against me. This is one fight I can't give up on. Order, order, order. All disruptive parties will be forced to leave the courtroom. Your Honor, for the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with his what-if game. His what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense theory. Mr. Wright, even you must have thought it strange and wondered, why would the criminal want this little wooden bear? He's right. The killer did specially bring that bear to Engard right away. Why do you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely. And I'm sure that once the court knows its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all the doubt against Miss Andrews. And who would that be? It's quite simple, Your Honor. Miss Adrian Andrew herself. I see. Well then, the court will take a short 10-minute recess, and the prosecution will prepare its witness for its time. Yes, Your Honor. Oh, I knew it was a good idea to hold her hostage. Don't you agree, Mr. Lawyer? But I never thought in your desperation you'd try to pin the guilt onto Adrian. I swear this demon will pay. Mr. Nick, Pearls, where's Mia? I don't know. A really strong power suddenly called her away. A really strong power? Oh, Mr. Nick, your phone is... It's from Gumshoe. How's it going? Have you been hanging in there, pal? Yeah, sort of. We just barely found something to latch onto. Phew, that's good, pal. And what about you? Anything yet? Have you figured out where the killer and Maya are? We still don't have any leads, but what? We don't have any more time. If we just had one, even a single clue would be really helpful. I was only able to come to this far because I kept thinking to myself, I've got to keep the trial going until Maya's been rescued. But have I just run out of luck this time? Is it all over? Was hope for naught? A tent, huh? A tent. I could see a circus tent. Mia! It looks like Maya was unconscious until just a few minutes ago. As soon as she woke up, she called for me. So it was Maya that called you away? She's locked in a dusty little room right now. But I could see a circus tent outside the window, about 300 feet away. Gumshoe, is there a circus in town right now? There is only one, pal. The very big circus. Maya is somewhere within a 300-foot radius of the main tent. Well, what? Okay, hold on, pal. Hey, draw a circle on the map, about 300-foot radius from the main tent. Hurry. And I could see a mailbox under the window, just outside. Gumshoe, there is also a mailbox. Okay. What else? What else, Mia? I'm sorry, but it was a very small window. I couldn't see anything else. It felt like I was in an old office building, maybe the 3rd floor or something. I heard her, an old office building. Good stuff, pal. Okay, just hang in there. A little longer, pal. Wish us luck. Good luck. I'll call you later, so don't let your battery die, okay, pal? Maya's not hurt, right? She's in pretty bad state, Phoenix. She's being starved. Gumshoe, please hurry. Looks like we're out of time. Are you alright, Phoenix? It's only a matter of time before Maya's rescued. I can do this. I just have to make this trial last a little longer. Just a little longer. Court will now reconvene. The killer, the man who murdered the victim, handed this to his client. From this, one obvious question arises. Why this particular item? I believe the answer to that question will provide us with the name of the real culprit. Now then, the prosecution calls the defendant's manager, Adrian Andrews, to the stand. Currently, the witness is accused of tampering and obstruction of justice. However, you have been called to the witness stand today to assertion. Who exactly is guilty of murder? I understand. Very good. Now, have you ever seen this bear before, Miss Andrews? Of course, I have. You have seen it before? That's right. It's only natural that the witness has. Miss Andrews, could you please enlighten the court to this bear's secret? All right. Why does she... Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. So this figurine, it's a container of sorts, is it? Yes, looks can be deceiving, wouldn't you agree? Yes, this is superb craftsmanship. Oh, yes, I nearly forgot. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. It looks like there really was something to that bear after all. Actually, okay. Can you open it for me? Puzzle. That's right. But it looks like an ordinary figurine. True enough. To people who don't know, I'm sure they would never guess that this was a puzzle. So what kind of puzzle is it exactly? If you know the correct order, you can take it apart. So you can take it apart. And how would one go about that? Well, you first turn its tail to the right and then push it in. Oh, yes, I see. After that, the arms and legs are free to move and can be removed. Oh, this is most interesting. A boy and his new toy. It's like he's 5 all over again. Oh, don't mind me. Go ahead and carry on. I think he's lost it. So, what do you find after you take the puzzle apart? At the center is a small cavity with just enough space for a small item. And how do you know about this? I know because I was the one who bought it. Huh? It was a souvenir from when a friend and I went to Switzerland. Then this was a present from you? That's right. It was a puzzle in the shape of a bear, so I thought it was perfect for June. So it was a present from Miss Andrews. Witness, let's continue with your testimony. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. So who exactly knew how to solve this puzzle? Only the two of us, June and myself. It was a souvenir for Switzerland, and I doubt there are that many people with the same bear in this country. But this looks like it can be easily broken, especially if someone wanted to get what's inside it. Well, it's a toy, but it can never be the same once it's been broken. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. Who else knows that this bear is actually a small container or a jewelry box? I never told anyone, and as long as June never told anyone either, then only the two of us know. 2 of us. Then, of course, that means Mr. Engard didn't know, right? I think this is about all I'm gonna get for now. Well, Mr. Wright, I think even you come to realize that there is one very important fact we have uncovered, and that is this. This bear is actually a jewelry box. Hmm. Now that we have agreed to that point, there is only one logical question that can come next, and that is this. What is inside this box? What's inside? That's right. That's what we are going to find out next, witness. Yes, you are the only one who can open this. Please. There's a painful silence hanging over the courtroom. All eyes are on Miss Andrews now as she solves the puzzle and takes the bear apart. I've opened it. Is this what you wanted? What is it? It looks like a note. I don't think we need to guess at what this is, do we, Mr. Wright? It's the suicide note. The suicide note? The suicide note left by June Cordia's former manager, Celeste Impact. Until now, no one knew of the whereabouts, but just as we suspected, it was hidden by the victim, June Cordia himself. It seems Celeste Impacts had very beautiful handwriting, and she just as beautifully signed her own name on this document. This is most definitely the note that she left right before she committed suicide. Order. Witness, did you know about this? Yes, I did. I heard all about it from June. When I discovered his body, I looked for the bear. I wanted to destroy the note before it could become public, but I couldn't find it anywhere because it had already been taken by the killer. Everything is going at Mr. Edgeworth's pace. So, now that the suicide note has been found, what's the next logical question? What is written on the note? That's right. At least that's what I would think. Now then, I believe it is only appropriate the contents of the note be made known. I can't stop you, can I? I went through so much just to get my hands on it. And I was going to burn it for her sake. I'm deeply sorry, but I can't allow you to pursue me to stop. Your Honor, if you could please read the context of the note aloud. Very well. The judge's voice rang loud and clear through the deathly silent courtroom. In her note, Celeste Impacts left to us a record of all that had happened to her, about being used and then thrown away by Engard, about being engaged to Cordia and Engard's role in destroying that, and about how she decided in her despair to end it all. And that's all Miss Impacts had to say. There is one thing I would like to say here. The prosecution has no interest in slandering Mr. Engard. Then what? Our intention, Your Honor, is to establish motive for murder. Isn't that correct, witness? Yes. On the night of the murder, June was going to make the contents of the note public. After the post-ceremony show, he was going to hold a press conference. My word. Matt Engard values above all else his refreshing like a spring breeze image, which is why he had to stop the note from being made public at any cost. It's Engard's fault that woman killed herself. And this time, he even went as far as to kill someone to stop him from revealing it. How terrible. What a selfish person. I guess there are slimeball lawyers out there who will defend these creeps too. There is no room for doubt here. Mr. D. Killer's client goal was to obtain this suicide note, and the only person who needed this note that badly is the defendant. Let's not forget that the bear with the note inside was found at the defendant's house. It seems that we have come to the truth at last. The defendant's motives were entirely selfish. He deserves no sympathy from anyone. How am I supposed to escape from this one? Why the hesitation, Phoenix? Gumshoe hasn't called yet, so you know what you must do. I know, I have to carry on and buy some more time. Okay. There are two deadly pieces of evidence. The figurine and the suicide note. Maybe somehow I can find a way out of the situation with one of these. The gavel is already in the judge's hand, Phoenix. Hurry. The suicide note or the figurine? Which one of these should I pursue? Please wait, Your Honor. Oh man, look at that lawyer. He's still going at it. It's It's like he doesn't care that he's trying to get a killer off the hook, man. I think Your Honor believed that Matt Engard killed in order to obtain this note. Yes, that is correct. But that seems a little strange. In fact, I think there is a contradiction here. This note was hidden by Mr. Cordia until the night of the murder. If that's the case, I say that Matt Engard could not have known what was written on this note. Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Exactly. But I did think of it that way, and I thought of it rather strange. No one in their right mind would kill for a note without first knowing what it said. Order, order, order. You make a valid point, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? It was just a flash, but I think I did rather well on that one. Unfortunately, I think he believes differently. I believe a show of appreciation is in order. Huh? The defense seems to be in love with wishing more despair upon itself. I would like to direct the court's attention to this. What is that? It is a very small video camera, Your Honor. This type of camera is commonly used as a means of spying. Spying? What the? I thought that spy camera was in my possession. Matt Engard and the victim both thought of the other as of their biggest rivals. They even went so far as to use this type of items to find each other's weaknesses. And the victim, Jucordia, was being spied on. His personal life was being watched by none other than Matt Engard. Order. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? You don't tell me you knew about your client's spying activities. Well, sort of. Sort of is not an acceptable answer, Mr. Wright. I see you're confused, Mr. Wright. You're probably thinking, but I have the camera that was in the stuffed bear's eye. But this camera that I have is not the same one. Last night, I searched the victim's house on a hunch, using this Gumshoe's bug sweeper. By the way, Mr. Wright, the defendant's fingerprints were found on this camera. Matt Engard's fingerprints were on there? Well, Phoenix, it looks like those cameras were hidden all over the place, huh? What am I supposed to say to that evidence? I think this is the end. It is fairly obvious that Mr. Engard learned of the suicide note through this. He was watching the victim all along. He got me good this time. I don't have anything to counter that. Hey, now that the lawyer's thinking. Mommy, is that man the bad guy killer? Shh, stop, don't look at him. He'll corrupt you. The way he's sweating is just ew, nasty. Phoenix? Yes, Chief. Have you figured out what you're going to do next yet? What am I going to do? Does running away like a frightened child work? I know it seems like Mr. Edgeworth is very close to putting a lid on this case, but in his eagerness to prove this point, he forgot one very important thing. Well, what is it, Mia? There's a piece of evidence that he really should investigate. Something he should investigate. I would really hate to see the good prosecutor get scolded for not remembering to look into the item that when he had the chance. Why are you speaking of riddles all of a sudden? Alright, I think this time we finally understand everything. Well, Mr. Wright, you don't have any further objections, do you? What is the piece of evidence that Mio is talking about? Can I figure out what it is that still needs to be looked at? Or should I let it go? That evidence? I have an objection, Your Honor. That was about the weakest objection I have ever heard, Mr. Wright. Objection! There you go. Your Honor, the defense has no intention of letting this go so easily. You are beginning to sound desperate. That's just your imagination, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, this is not like you at all. In your eagerness to prove your point, you've forgotten one very important thing. Hey, isn't that what I just said? I really don't know. So you're telling me that I forgot something. I guess so. You're so close, Mr. Edgeworth. There is something you really should examine about this piece of evidence. That is... And that is... I don't know what that is. Transmitter, maybe? But I think it's... I don't know, man. That was just a random guess. Of course, what I meant to show you was... the bear. Okay. I didn't mean to. Sorry. The suicide note? That is Miss Impact's suicide note, right? Who knows? I mean, sure, the suicide note was found inside this bear, but this bear was in my possession until only a few moments ago. Which means the handwriting on the suicide note has yet to be analyzed. Oh, so as to whether this pivotal piece of evidence was really written by Miss Impact or not, that has yet to be even remotely confirmed. Mr. Wright, you can't seriously be suggesting... Mr. Wright, are you saying this suicide note is a fake? Miss Andrews, you were the one who tried to pin the murder on Mr. Engard. Who is to say you didn't create a fake suicide note to put inside the bear? How dare you? Your Honor, the defense is indiscriminately accusing the witness again. There is no evidence linking the witness to the suicide note whatsoever. But if this is fake, then the witness is the only person who could have made it. What? Recall the witness's testimony concerning this figurine. The only person who, other than the victim, who could have solved the puzzle is the witness herself. Ah. Miss Andrews, you wrote this note, didn't you? You wrote it so you could use it to frame Matt Engard. I didn't do it. Right? If you're going to pronounce this suicide note as a fake, then show this court some evidence to support your theory. Mr. Edward, you were the one who presented this scrap of piece of paper to the evidence. That means the burden of proof lies on you, the prosecution. That's enough. Mr. Edgeworth, can you confirm the handwriting on the suicide note? Is as the defense has stated, the handwriting has yet to be analyzed. If that's the case, it seems that yet again we have reached where a verdict is impossible. That's impossible. This isn't good, Phoenix. The judge is going to carry the trial over one more day. I don't think Maya will physically be able to make it another day. I didn't want to do this, but I request that both the prosecution and defense further investigation. Handwriting analyst in my butt. That's just the lawyer trying to buy more time. Engard is guilty. Look, any idiot can tell you that. I think we've reached the end of the line. Guilty. Guilty, 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 guilty. Well, what is that sound? It's Gumshoe. Hello, Gumshoe? Sigh. What is with him? And what's with that long sigh? Where's Maya? What's happening to the killer? What the hell? The killer. He got away. What? I'm sorry, pal. I really am. I don't know what to say besides I'm sorry. I wish there was some way to make it up to you. I really do. Anyways, what's going on? We found his hideout, pal. But the two of them were already gone. This is terrible. I'm going to keep looking for your team, pal. Don't you worry. I just need a little more time. But don't tell me we don't have any more. Guilty, 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 guilty. Do you hear that? They're calling for his head. Mr. Wright, I can't. For us to come to this far and... Oh. What is it? Let me talk to Mr. Edgeworth. I can't do that. Mr. Wright, would you please get a hold of yourself? Yes, Your Honor. I'm about to end today's proceedings. You may take your phone calls after. Hold on, Your Honor. Edgeworth, catch. Mr. Edgeworth, please, you've got to buy us some more time. Court is in session, sir. Goodbye. I'm sorry, Your Honor. You were saying? Mr. Wright, this is a court of law. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I am reluctant to do this. However, it appears that I have no choice but to suspend proceedings until tomorrow. This time I really can't do anything. Court is now adjourned for the day. Please wait, Your Honor. Edgeworth. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I humbly request another 30 minutes of Your Honor's time. For what purpose? We can perform the necessary tests on this piece of evidence in that time. But can you really obtain your results in 30 minutes? I believe we can, Your Honor. But wouldn't it be better if we adjourn for today and then reconvene tomorrow? 30 minutes. Please, Your Honor, that is all I'm asking for. Please, Your Honor. Very well. At the prosecution's request, this court will now take a 30-minute recess. But be advised that I will not allow another recess today. I'm not sure if this is helping or hurting us. The court will now take its final recess of the day. Right? Well, what's going on with Maya's situation? The killer. It looks like he got away again. 30 minutes? We can't find her in that time. Report. Is this Mr. Edgeworth? We don't have time. Just spit it out. Right. It looks like we just missed them, sir. But the killer left a few things behind by accident in his rush to get away. A few things? Can we use any of them as evidence? I thought you'd ask, pal. I've got the things he left with me right now, and I'm on my way over. Really? That's odd. Any items like that are usually sent to the crime labs first. We don't have time to wait for those guys, sir. When those guys weren't looking, I swiped the stuff and ran. What? Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to. I'm really sorry, sir, but I've got to put the law on hold for now. Sounds bad. I hope he doesn't get in too much trouble over this. With my hunk of junk car, I'd say I'd be there in about 20 minutes, sir. Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. All right, just get here in one piece. I'm on a mission, and no one can stop me now, sir. No one. I'm pulling all the stops and running every red light. Items left by the murderer, huh? Maybe there's something among them that will be decisive enough to end this. Hey, what's wrong? Detective Gumshoe, answer me. No one can stop me. What happened? It sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well. What was he thinking? We've got to hurry and call for help, but we have no idea where he is. His cell phone is broken and he wasn't driving a patrol car, so there's no radio either. Also, if we don't get to those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. No, we can't let this happen. Well, if there is a way, we can find out where he is, then we stand a chance. Why, oh why did Gumshoe have to get in an accident now? Is there any way to find exactly where he is at this moment? There is a way. That's right, there is a way. What? How? I'm sure we can find out where Gumshoe is through... Where is it? Oh, I know. Why are you bringing up Francisca at a time like this? Oh, I see. I'll try to get in contact with her. The chances are slim, but she's all we have. Francisca. Will she even want to help us? Edgeworth, what is it? I don't have any right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client is guilty, but what am I doing now? I'm pinning the guilt onto someone totally innocent and using evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say defense attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death, right? It doesn't suit someone like you to cry unless useless tears. Whether you did your job well or not, that can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. Verdict? Is prosecution at Edgeworth here? Yes, bailiff? There's a phone call for you, sir. They said it was extremely urgent. They're probably finishing with the handwriting analyst. I have to go take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what it is you must do. I'm going to save it here and continue in a few hours. All right, so thank you and